Hi ladies, I wanted to get on video today because I know that our kids are going back to school in a couple of days, and one of the questions I get a lot from the moms and people that I speak with is, what can I do to make my kids eat healthier? So many people struggle with this. I mean, they look at their kids like they have different eating needs than adults do, and I'm very passionate about the topic because I feel there are so many ways you can improve your children's health just through food alone. And a lot of people ignore that. They think that some of the things are genetic, or they might blame it on something else besides what they're putting in their children's body, their health issues I'm speaking about. So if you have a child that's overweight, a teenager that's overweight, or you have a child that has asthma or attention deficit disorder or anything that they're struggling with, you can improve a lot of those symptoms with diet. And if you have a hyperactive child, it could be related to some food issues that they might be having. Obesity is a big problem as well. Today, I just read this statistic, and it was kind of disturbing. 1 out of every 4 children are considered overweight today. And that's really upsetting. I think it's a lack of exercise. I believe our kids are sitting around a lot more than they used to. Genetics obviously will play some part, but a lack of activity and unhealthy eating patterns. I mean, the food portions today have grown larger and larger. So what kids used to eat, a small ice cream, is now, they're going to Playa bowls or wherever, and they're getting this, immense meal, and it's just a lot of calories. And drinking calories, the Starbucks and all those, drinks that kids get today are loaded with sugar and unnecessary calories. So what I wanted to do quickly is just to go over a couple of nutrition tips that I do with my family. My kids are far from perfect, but I think I've done a decent job with helping them develop good eating habits. And so you can work on this as well if you'd like to do that. And I'll give you some of my main things that I do in my home. Just so you know that if your child is overweight, you're a teenager, or if you have young children, they're increasing their risk of diabetes, heart disease, asthma, and emotional self-esteem and other issues. So if you have a child that has high cholesterol or is having issues with sugar at this stage, there's no reason for it. You can turn it around with food. And if you believe that food is medicine, then this is going to be an easy process for you. So first thing I want to let everyone know is the biggest thing, and I would say probably my number one tip, is to be a role model for your children. I mean, if you're eating healthy and then you're giving them, let's just say you go somewhere, you order yourself a salad and whatever you like to put on that, and you're giving them chicken McNuggets, there's a disconnect there. Why would you feel like your child should eat that garbage and you're trying to feed yourself healthy? A lot of parents will say, I don't know, my kids won't eat salad, or my kids won't eat this other type of food. So you feel like you're forced to give them this crap. And the bottom line is they only know what you give them. They're not on this earth long enough to really make conscious decisions for their food. So you can solely change that. But raise your standards for your children and what you're putting in their bodies. Their little bodies need nourishment. They need food. Chicken McNuggets are disgusting. They're not food. And when I see parents give that to the kids, I say there is a better way. There's a healthier version that you can give your children. So that's the first thing. Be a role model for your kids. Show them what healthy eating is. Let them watch you. All of my good habits came from my parents when I was young, watching them eat properly. It was something that was always important in my home. Number 2 is disguise the taste of healthier foods. So a lot of times the kids don't have a taste for vegetables or fruits. The more times that you expose them to the food, the more they will like it. And the same will go for you. So if you're not a person that likes certain vegetables, the more you expose yourself to it in different ways, the more you might grow to like the food. So what I'll do is you can disguise it into other foods. So if you're making the children pasta, you can put broccoli or peas or some kind of vegetable in the pasta, mix it in with the sauce. Start with a very small amount so they're not, overwhelmed by it, but give it a try that way. And you can even puree it into a soup. So if they like soups, you can puree vegetables into a soup, and they're not going to know that they're in there. The same thing you could do with juicing and smoothies. I love to do that for the kids. I do that a lot, actually. I just bought a new juicer, and the kids really enjoyed it. So you can disguise the vegetables with fruits in there. So we did today orange, carrot, spinach, apple, and I'm forgetting something, one other vegetable. In any case, there was about 4 to 5 cups of spinach in the juicer, and you couldn't taste the spinach at all, and they loved it. So I would encourage you to get a juicer if you don't have one. You can get an inexpensive one. They don't have to be this top of the line, but start juicing for your kids, or and use the fruits and vegetables in there to work together to get it in their body. So if they're not ready for a salad, or they're not going to eat a raw vegetable, try to do it this way. It's so important that you get these things into them. A vitamin is not going to replace that kind of food. You need to get those things in their body in some way. The next thing I can offer you, tip I can offer you, is to cook more meals at home. The more you eat out, the more stuff they're putting in your food. They're very likely adding extra oils, extra fats, extra butters to make the food taste good, a lot of salt. And it's going to be very hard for you to keep your children healthy by eating out constantly, unless you're going to specific places. Try to limit it as much as you can to social occasions on the weekends and what have you. But I would highly encourage you, the more you cook at home, the cleaner the food's going to be, the better it's going to be for the kids. And then you can have them engage in the process. And I know that can be a little bit of a hassle, but try to give them a chance to learn how to cook and eat properly. So maybe you might have them shred carrots, or put together some kind of food, whether it's putting sauce on the pasta or something like that. So at least that they are getting I'm sorry, that's my ring. They're getting some idea of how the food is prepared, and then they'll be more likely to eat it. So I definitely do that with my kids. Not every day, but try to get them in the process at some point. Let them cut vegetables, teach them how to use a knife if they're old enough, and they can mix things. They love to mix things, so that's a nice thing to do, and there's no sharp objects in there. The next one is keep healthy snacks available at all times. You want to have raw fruits and vegetables available at all times. I like to make muffins. I make my own muffins. You can do chocolate chip. You could do oatmeal. I have recipes on my Instagram and Facebook. Organic chips and hummus. Those are things you can do as well. They don't have to be things that take a lot of time, but definitely have healthy things on hand for them to eat. If you have junk in the house, they're going to eat it. And I'm not saying that they can never eat, chocolate or something that might not be the best thing for them, but buy the healthier version of what they like. So if they like chips, buy some kind of whole grain chip for them, and hummus. At least they're getting something healthy. There's no reason to have, fattening dip in there for them to use, or buying Doritos and something with 20,000 chemicals in it. Again, look at the back of the chip bag, and if you can't understand all the ingredients, don't buy it. If it has chemicals in there, don't buy that food for them. Again, you want them to feel good, you want them to be healthy, and give them an opportunity to do that. Limit portion sizes as far as if there's something caloric they're eating, give them vegetables and something filling to fill them up. It could be, if you're giving them pasta, throw the vegetables in there so that they're eating more vegetables than pasta. I always put out a plate of raw vegetables before the kids eat dinner. Raw carrots, raw peppers, raw cucumbers, always in the beginning of a meal. That way they're snacking on that before the food is put in front of them. And then secondly, don't force them to eat and finish their plate. When their body is full, I see a lot of parents, this was something that was done when we were kids. You had to finish your plate. Your body is going to tell you when you're hungry. It's going to tell you when you're full. And if you push your child to eat when they're already full, you're creating, I'm trying to think of the word, but you're creating a problem in their digestive system. It's too much food for their body. If they're looking to go and get cookies and they just finished eating dinner 2 seconds ago, I would definitely have an issue with that. But you want them to wait a little while before they have a dessert, but let their bodies tell them when they're hungry and full. Don't force them to eat breakfast. Don't force them to eat past the point of feeling satisfied. As for breakfast, this is another big thing that people get crazy about. It is a myth that you have to eat breakfast. There's no basis for it. It doesn't do anything for you. If your body is not hungry when you wake up, then you don't need to eat until your body tells you you're hungry. So if you have a child going to school and they don't have lunch until 12 o'clock, trying to get something into their body might help them. So that's where the juicing can come in handy. You can also do a piece of fruit. It can be a banana. It does not have to be a big deal. Maybe you can give them, something healthy to take with them, like a healthy granola bar or something like that. But it doesn't have to be a force-fed situation. The next thing I want to mention is sitting down as a family to eat dinner. And if you don't do that regularly, I know people are busy with sports and things like that, but try to do it a couple of times a week, because you can monitor their eating habits that way. And you can also teach by example. So they'll see you eating a salad at dinner or whatever it is that you like to make, but at least they know that they can eat, that you know what they're eating. So if they're just picking on the carbs and not touching their vegetables or something like that, you might want to talk to them about that and let them understand why they need to eat certain foods and try to like them a little more. So you might have to tweak a recipe for them, but to make them to make them enjoy it more, you might have to tweak the recipe. But generally, when you have a vegetable or something that the child doesn't like, could just be the way it's prepared, and simply changing it or putting like a marinade on it or a dressing would change the whole situation for them. The next thing is limiting sugar and refined carbohydrates. There is nothing wrong with carbohydrates. Don't be afraid of carbs. When people say, I don't let my kids eat carbs, or I don't eat carbs, it's not the carbs that's the problem. It's the food itself that you're choosing. Is it a processed carb? Is it potato chips? Is it pizza? Is it things that have no nutritional value to them? Those are things that are going to increase their, that's going to affect their health. You want to get whole grains in their body. Oatmeal, potatoes are great. Brown rice is great. Things that are healthy, and when you look at the ingredients on the label, you see brown rice, 100%, or 100% oats, or a potato is a potato. You don't have to buy foods that have 1,000 ingredients in them. That would be probably the worst thing for them. As far as sugar goes, the same thing. I'd rather see sugar come from fruit than from added sugar in a particular kind of food. So, for example, if I'm making the kids a smoothie, I know some people put like honey in a smoothie. Honey is sugar. I'm not saying it's completely bad. In small amounts, it's fine, but I'd rather get the banana in there and have the natural sugar from a banana than put it in just putting added sugar into something. So when you go to places like Playa Bowls and those popular places today, those sauces they put on top, they're full of sugar. And your taste buds get used to eating a lot of sugar, so you can kind of cut back slowly, and then you won't want it as much as you do. So watch the cereals; they usually have a lot of sugar in them. Watch the added sugar in foods that you're buying. It causes fluctuations in mood and energy for the kids. It'll cause a sugar crash. So if you're dealing with a child that has trouble concentrating or might be struggling with hyperactivity, try to limit those things and look for alternatives. Next thing is encouraging exercise. If they're not doing that, try to get out there with them. Try to do something, even for 10 minutes, but get them involved in a sport so they're moving around a little bit. You can take them to the gym. Most gyms will allow you to take a preteen to the gym with you, so you can do that. And some other tips I wanted to mention is don't ban sweets entirely. Like if you're trying to bring things to a better level in your home, keep some things in the house that they like and slowly replace them with the healthier version of something. So if they like their cookies, just buy the healthiest version you can find of them. If they like ice cream, try to find a healthier version of what they're currently eating. And secondly, I would ban sugary drinks. If you are keeping sugary drinks in your house, they have no nutritional value. Your child does not need to drink milk over the age of 1 year old. So people say, well, my kid needs to drink milk. It's a habit. There is no physical basis for them needing milk. They can get everything they need from their food. So any drinks that contain sugar, any drinks that contain chemicals, sodas, iced teas, those things are loaded with sugar. And if your child is struggling with weight, that's a big way that you can help them lose some weight, is getting rid of that. So make your own iced teas. Buy healthier versions of what you're looking at. They have lemonade with like half the sugar, organic lemonade. You can start there. I would have a ban of soda completely in your house. It causes cancer. It causes intestinal problems. It's a horrible food to have, a drink to have in your home. There's just a ban of soda in the house in general. So I would encourage you to do that with your kids. Look it up on YouTube. Read about what soda does to your body. And then you're going to say to yourself, how could I even give this to my child? I would encourage you to make some healthy food alternatives, like junk food alternatives. Things like the kids really like that I've done different versions with are French fries. So I make my own French fries for the kids, and I don't fry them. We cut up the potatoes, you season them up, you lay them on parchment paper, and you can bake them at about 400 degrees, and they love it. We do sweet potatoes and regular potatoes. That's a big one. Ice cream. You can make ice cream with mangoes, bananas, frozen bananas, and non-dairy milk in a blender. Easy, and the kids love it. Cookies, I do homemade like oatmeal cookies without any fat in them. So you can look that up on my Instagram. That's a nice way to get a sweet in the house without damaging everyone's health. For potato chips, you can bake your own chips. You can also probably buy a healthier version, but I just slice the potatoes very thin and I lay them on a pan. I also do it with apples. I roast chickpeas. Those are things that are easy. They're fast and the kids love them, and everybody's eating the same way. So you shouldn't have two different things going on in your house too much. So if you're not eating the same way as your children, slowly introduce a couple of things each week so that you can see if they like it. So give it a try. The worst thing that they could say is they don't like it, and you try something else. So I hope that helps you guys. I'm very passionate, like I said, about this topic. If your child is, their health is impacted in some way, start with your food. Start making one change at a time, that maybe some of the things I mentioned on here that could help them. And you're going to have less issues with constipation, less issues with, brain fog, any hyperactivity. Those things might change for you, or you'll see an improvement based on the food alone. So raise your standards for them. I have a ban on fast food. I will not go near a McDonald's. I will not go near Wendy's. I think they're horrible places to feed your family. So just raise your standards as to what you're putting in their body, and do that 80-20 rule. I mean, 80% of the time they're doing what they need to do, or you're doing the best you can, and the other 20% might be when they're getting, dinner with their friends or something like that. The same applies for teenagers. Teach them the habits so that they don't have to struggle with their weight when they grow up and they body changes in the 20s, and all of a sudden they were thin at one point and now they're struggling. Teach them now, and it'll help them for their entire lives. And the same thing for you, to help everybody. So I hope that helps you guys. If you feel like this was helpful, please feel free to visit my website at purefitwomen.fit, and feel free to pass on the video. I have a lot on YouTube as well if you're looking for other tips on nutrition and fitness and essential oils. And I appreciate your time. Hope you guys are having a great day. Thank you.